Hey YouTube, it's Monica, and I just want to do a quick video today giving a sort of update on how I plan my time, how I schedule everything, and how I make my own curriculum and decide, how much time do I spend doing stuff during the year and during the week and during each individual day. So, it's not the most beautiful layout ever, but I want to show you how I wrap my brain around it. Just very briefly, the very first thing you need to do is decide mentally on an endpoint, or you probably need to write it down. So say 18, they're done, 16, they're done. And, what do I envision for them, right? So a lot of people say, I want my kid to go to college. And every year you might reevaluate this and say, is this still the way things are going? Because what if your kid wants to be a chef? Right? Like they're not going to go to college, so you would reevaluate and change your goals. But for now, your kid's 8, 9, 10, you're going to say maybe like college. And personally, I want my kids ready by 16, maybe a little earlier. That's what I want. You might have very different parenting philosophy. Maybe you want your kid to just have a lot of time at home and just to be young and whatever, and you don't want it before 19. But that's up to you. That's what you have to decide. So you're going to say, at this age, I want them, we'll say, college ready. So what does that mean? Well, you can look up entrance requirements for college, but for me, there's a certain level of math that I want them to get to, and I'm very specific. I say I want them to know algebra, geometry, and statistics and economics well. I want them to know those things well. I want them to be very good writers. I want them to know logic and rhetoric. I have a list of very specific goals for my kids. I want them to be able to type at least 60 words a minute. Very specific goals for the duration of their education. So when I say, when you're done, you can do these things and you will know these things. Personally, I don't get too detailed as far as like history, you need to know all of this in great detail. History is on my goal list, but I'm not super detailed with some of the knowledge sets, right? I'm a little more detailed with skill sets. And again, that's up to you, and you need to decide and make a goal, okay? Then you need to work backwards. Just say, my kid's 10 years old, until they're 18, I have 8 years to accomplish this math goal. Okay, so then you work backwards. You say, this is what I do this year, this year, this year, this year, to the present year, right? That's what you need to do for this year, okay? So that's for your math goal. Then for your writing goals, okay? And then for your reading goals. Whatever goals you have, you're gonna say, this is how much time I have. I'm gonna break it down. And I'm going to say, this is how much time that I have to work with and what I have to do with each year. Okay? So when you know what you have to do with each year, then it becomes a lot easier to decide on a week-by-week basis. Now, the first time I did this, I took the whole year. I took all the weeks in the school year. And what I did was I literally made lesson plans for the whole year, down to the page number. And that's nuts, because that just, well, you know what? It was nuts for me. Maybe it will work for you. That didn't work for me. Just having a yearly goal, and every week what I do, I'll kind of show you this a little bit. Okay. These are oversized note cards. Okay. Okay, the different colors here represent the different quarters. I have 2 kids, so anyway, you have kind of a minimum of 180 school days. If you want to sort of be doing something equivalent to what your typical school does, they do 180 school days in a year. So that's what I do. I feel better that I have that structure. When I didn't have that structure, I was always very anxious and feeling like I didn't know if I was doing enough. And now I feel confident and I feel good. You may not feel like that. But I do feel like it's a good starting point. Anyway, it's what worked for me. So, okay, I'm going to show you the quarters. So, it was 180, so how many weeks is that? That is, right. So So there's 18 weeks and half a year, I believe. So then that's 36 weeks in the year. I think that's right. Anyway, it's 180, and right, you're going to divide it by 5. So I think that's 36 weeks. But anyway, I break it down and I write Blake week 18, Marla week 18. And so this is for the week, okay? And then you just write down the things you're going to do in the week. Reading, spelling, and again, you're working from your yearly goals that you made, and you got your yearly goals from your long-term educational plan. And every year you should look at that long-term educational plan. And in fact, we just finished the half a year mark. I actually need to finish up this week 18, these notes. And I looked at my yearly goals and I adjusted them. I said, wait, this is a little silly. Why am I focusing on this? I'm happy with all these other things. This adds too much time, you know, because again, we have sports, we've got dance, we've got all kinds of stuff. It's too much and it's not necessary to do it right now. I was a little over ambitious, and that's okay sometimes, but it just wasn't working out. So I adjusted it. I made adjustments, and I think every quarter, at least at the half a year mark, look at your yearly goals and say, how am I doing? Am I doing okay? Do I need to do better? And I did need to do better in one area, right? And so that's good to have those goals and have those things, you know, and when I know that I get to the end of this color, once I fill them all out, that's the end of a quarter. So it's like it's very easy as I come up towards the end, I say, oh, I'm almost done with this quarter. Time to look at my goals and see how I'm doing. How am I doing? How am I doing helping these children get to where I think they should be by the end of the year? Because again, where they should be by the end of the year helps them get to where they should be by that end goal that you decided on before, right? So anyway, and just one more, I'm going to mention one more thing. Let me just pause here. So another thing that has helped add a lot of sanity to our lives and to my life, well, and really to the kids' lives too, is anything that I can do in a worksheet, I like it. A lot of people are against worksheets, but I feel like it's almost like a philosophical, they don't like the idea of it kind of thing. For me, it helps the kids practice various skills that they need to practice. So we've got, I make a packet and I put these little binder clips on them because sometimes you want to add things to this. Sometimes you want to take things out, and if it's stapled, that's a pain in the butt. So anyway, this is all the week's work that could be in a worksheet. You know, and not everything is a worksheet, but a lot of things are. So everything that can be in a worksheet is here. We've got grammar, we've got geography, we've got math, we've got writing, you know, in there, and some Spanish. So this is so handy. There's been times where I just tell the kids, okay, you decide when you want to do it, but if it's not done by Saturday, you're not doing anything else until it is done, which means they can't go out and play with the neighborhood kids, and there's some motivation there. I was finding one of them wasn't managing their time super well. So I've decided to start saying, look, let's sit down together and plan your week. Because I want to teach my kids to plan their time. The little one doesn't have as much work, so it's easier for her to accomplish everything. The older one has more work, and so you kind of have to plan ahead a little bit. So say, look, okay, we have this many pages. You have this many days. Let's do this many pages a day. Makes sense. Okay. So I sit down and include him in that planning process so he can learn how to do it, because I want him to learn to take charge of things. And then we'll say, all right, this is how many hours we have to take out an hour for lunch. At this time of day, we're done because we have various sports things. So this is how many hours you have to work with. And then we go on the top, see where it says 10? That's where we estimated that it will take 10 minutes. So that's how they have a good idea of how long these worksheets will take. Then they can plan their day, and then they can make decisions about when do I want to do my work, when do I want to break, and that's been working really well. I hope that I can get to a point where I can be very hands-off with my older one. And I don't know, as the younger one gets more work, maybe she'll need help planning things as well, but she hasn't needed too much, yet. So anyway, that is where I'm at. Everything is working well. This system of doing the note cards works so well. Like all these, different color for each quarter, and then you do 5 sections for each day of the week. And the cool thing is, one last thing I need to tell you guys. Okay, I'm gonna try to explain this. I hope it's not confusing. So, if you start your year on January 15th, okay? It's more the day, really. But anyway, you're gonna go through the next January 15th or July 15th or whatever. And each quarter of my year is, each year is split into quarters, like 365 days split into quarters. So I know what the actual date is at the end of that quarter of the actual year. But then there's the school. So within that amount of time, I only have, what is it? It's 18 weeks. Anyway, something like that. I have a certain amount of weeks, so it's, I think it's 18 weeks. No, it's not. It's not even. No, it's 9 weeks. Silly me. I have, I believe, something like 9 weeks per quarter, right? So that is, and I believe it's 13 weeks. Something like that for the quarter of a year, but like 9 weeks for the actual quarter of the school year. So what I do, so this is week 1. So if this quarter has to end by, we'll say, October 15th, then what I do for the very last week of the quarter, I say you have to start this week for the last week, like week 9. You have to start it on October 10th or whatever, like exactly, a work week before the end of the quarter. And then I do that and then for week 8 will be, you have to start this week no later than that. So I'll show you what I mean. I make little notes on the back. So I just make a little note and it says, start this week no later, I think it's blurry, than this date. So that tells you, it lets you know you're not behind, right? So now, I think we're going to be starting on week 19. So we're starting on week 19. You can't even see that, week 19. And it is January, I don't know, like 10th or something like that. But because the actual quarter of the whole entire year is longer, I could take time off. As long as I start this week no later than 2/13, I would be fine. So that lets me not be anxious and stressed out when I have company come and we take a week off. When I take a day off like next week because a friend is going to have like a several hour layover and we haven't seen that friend in a couple years. I don't feel stressed about taking those days off. Today is Martin Luther King Day. We're just taking it off, right? Like I think everyone else is, but I don't feel stressed about it. So I know, I'm good. I don't even have to start this till February. Of course I will, because I'm going to want to take time off when I have company come in town and stuff. So that is like really great to make that note. I hope I made that clear. I'm not sure if I did. But anyway, click like if you like this video, if it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, please put them in the comments, because I want to help you guys to sort of to plan and to do this. And I really want to encourage people to kind of like cobble together their own curriculums, because that is the beauty of homeschooling, to really be able to make this a unique, customized experience for each kid. And you can really only do that when you are sort of cobbling together reading from this, math from that, things that work for your kids. One thing might work for one kid, it may not work for the other kid. So, a box curriculum can have its place. Like if your life is really hectic, maybe you have a newborn infant and you can't think, or maybe, a parent is going through serious illness and you can't think, but if you have the mental time, making your own curriculum is really great. And putting the time into thinking of long-term goals for your kid is really great. So anyway, I hope you guys liked the video. Click thumbs up and share, and have a great day. Bye-bye.